Jeez Louise, they say that you lose like 300 hairs a day after pregnancy, but I'm hitting like the 1,000 mark, I think. What's up, party people, and welcome back to my channel. So today we're doing a dupe video, which are my personal favorite videos to film, but I don't do them as often as I'd like because it just takes so much time to collect them and to try stuff out, and then also just it's hella expensive. I don't have a full face of dupes, but I'm like 4 products short of a full face, so it's good enough for me. I'm just gonna go ahead and slither on into it. So if you like videos like this and if you want to see more like it, then make sure you give it a big old thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel because why not? Turn that notification bell on to make sure that you always see my videos, and check your settings to make sure that it's set to all, not just some, because YouTube algorithm be only showing you a few things. So yeah, make sure it's set to all. And without further ado, let's go ahead and jump in and try some potential dupes for high-end makeup. All right, so right side's gonna be high-end, left side will be the dupe side. So the first dupe I have is an Eyeshadow primer dupe. So this is the MAC Paint Pot in the shade Soft Ochre. So I'm sure you guys have seen this. This has been around for years and years, and it's one of the most infamous primers on the market. So this is Soft Ochre, and it's just like a yellowish tinted eye primer. So it does conceal. It is, you know, it's gonna correct the madness on your eyelids. So yeah, this is $22, so pretty pricey. So for my dupe side, I have the Makeup Revolution Pro Eye Elements Eye Primer in the shade Core. So this is $8 at Ulta. So let's do a little side by side. So here's the MAC, here's the Revolution Pro. So I'm gonna go ahead and wipe off the excess on my brush and use the same brush. And I will be doing this for every product just so it's a fair test. Alrighty, so here's the Revolution side. So whenever I first got done applying it, it looked a tad bit brighter than the MAC one, but I've been sitting here for like 10 minutes trying to get this part out because I can't talk. So I guess it's kind of oxidized and it looks the exact same as the MAC side. But yeah, as you can see, these are both full coverage. Like they cancel out everything on your eyelids, which is what I look for. But as far as the performance, the wear, the texture, how they feel, how they blend out, literally everything, they're the exact same. I will say though, if your eyelids tend to be more dry, I would probably skip out on both of these just because these are definitely more on the dry side. But also they're just not the longest wearing formulas. Like I've only had these on for like 10 minutes or so, and I've had to pat out the creases like 5 or 6 times. So I do like the Revolution side better. I feel like it's longer wearing than the MAC one, but I mean, they're close enough for me to call them dupes. Alrighty, moving on, finally. So now we're gonna try to find a dupe for the Huda Beauty Mercury Retrograde palette, which is a whopping $65. Why? So the potential dupe that I have for it is this Life's Cosmetics? I don't know, it's from Amazon, but this is the Galactic Dazzle palette, and this is between $12 and $13 on Amazon, and I mean, it's set up the exact same way. It's the same vibes, but I will say in comparing the swatches and stuff, there is a big difference as far as the formula. The Huda ones are definitely more silky and buttery, and like you can tell side by side, like whenever you feel them, this is definitely higher quality. But hopefully you guys can see there are some like differences in the tones and the depths and stuff like that. So let's first go in and swatch this one, which is like my favorite shade in the palette. If I could drench myself, like drench my face in this kind of tone, totally would. So here's Huda and here is Life's. But as you can see, the Huda one is just way more shiny. It has more dimension and it's definitely more pigmented and just buttery and silky and soft. Like you can tell like the Life's one is definitely lower quality. But I will say on the hand they look pretty similar. So here's a Huda one, here's Life's. Then I'm gonna swatch this one. This is so pretty. Like Huda does this thing with her, like some of her shimmers where they're kind of baked. This one looks like a gold mixed with like a pink. All right, so here's Huda, here's Life's. So yeah, again, the Huda one just has like a mirror-like shine to it. But I will say, as far as like across the board, the shimmers in the dupe palette, like they get the tone right, but they just don't get the dimension and like the glitter reflex and like the multi-dimensional aspect that the Huda ones have. But hopefully, once again, hopefully on the eyes, they look way much more, oh my God, way more similar. So here's Huda, here's the dupe. So yeah, they feel pretty similar. They're the exact same tone, and I mean, you can't really tell them apart, to be honest. So yeah, a little bit closer. Then let's do this shade down here. First, I'm gonna go into this matte ivory shade in the Huda palette, and once again, I'm gonna be using the equivalent shade in the other palette. Yeah, I'm just gonna use this to set my primer down and to help avoid creases, because with these primers, it's gonna happen. Okay, I'm gonna flip it over, and then we'll use the dupe one. All right, so there's that shade. So now I'm gonna go into this matte peachy shade up here for my transition. So yeah, starting on the Huda side, I'm gonna sweep this all in the crease. Okay, that was super easy to work with and just really, really pigmented. So now going to the dupe side. All right, so that's the exact same tone. And as far as the blend goes, I mean, Those are identical. Okay, so now I'm gonna jump down here to the bottom and do this matte, kind of like a medium peachy brown. All right, so no real differences yet. I mean, they both blend out super well. So now I go into Hot Mess, which is a matte pinkish plum. We are a part of a rhythm nation. I'm just gonna put this in the outer V. Okay, so definitely more fallout and more debris, as you can see on the dupe side. Okay, so now I'm gonna go into like the prettiest shade ever. This is the gold glitch shade, which is what I said was like the gold with like the pink reflex to it. Okay, so I'm just gonna put this on the eyelid. Oh, that's not doing anything. Why is that not as pigmented on the eyes? Okay, there we go. Okay, so ultimately they are the same like base color, like they're both like a gold kind of shade, but whenever you look at the hooded one up close, like you can see all of the like the pink glittery specks in there, like you can see all the dimension in there. Whereas with this one on the dupe side, it just looks like your basic light gold. Very pretty as well. Now I'm gonna go into Supernova, which is this really multi-tonal kind of pinkish kind of shade. Like it almost has like, you know, like Stila's Wanderlust, like the liquid shadow in the shade Wanderlust. Like it looks like a powder version of that. I'm gonna put this one right in the center. Ooh, that's pretty. I don't want to like this palette. I don't want to like this palette. Yeah, you can definitely tell they tried. Like they played with heart. For the dupe side, I actually want to try it wet and see if we can make it look as shiny as the hooded one. Yeah, not quite. So I'm gonna say the Life is palette is an alternative. It's not an exact dupe, but it's very, very similar. Like it'll give you a similar vibe to the hooded palette. So now I'm gonna try to find a dupe for the Benefit Gimme Brow, which is just a tinted brow gel. And this is $24, okay? Let's, look how small this is. Actually, let's compare it to like a full-size mascara, because $24 for this. Yeah, I mean, it really is a good size wand, and it's not too big and it's not too small either, but it just gets in there and gets in all the little cracks and crevices. But I mean, there's so many other products that do that now. I really do like tinted brow gels for those days when I don't feel like filling in my brows and being precise and, you know, defining every little square inch. So the dupe that I have for it is this AOA Studio Go Brow. It may be called Go Brow Gel. I'm not sure. The labeling has rubbed off, but yeah, this is just like a fiber brow gel, and I got the shade Taupe, I believe. Again, that's rubbed off, but yeah, this is $1. Here's Benefit, here is AOA Studio. So yeah, I mean, the AOA Studio one's just a tad bit more chunky, but ultimately they're gonna do the exact same thing, and it's small enough. I'm gonna go ahead and run this through the other side. Even the shades are the exact same. So again, the AOA Studio is in the shade Taupe, and this is number 3 in the Gimme Brow, but yeah. Same amount of hold, same amount of color and tint. $1, $22. They're dupes. But now let's move on to some primer. So I'm gonna be trying to find a dupe for the most infamous, widely duped primer on the market, I feel like, and that's the Becca Backlight Priming Filter, which is $39. $39 for a primer that gives an effect that does not show through makeup. It really doesn't. Like a glowy primer that has any kind of glowy dewiness really doesn't show through your foundation unless you're using a really, really light sheer coverage foundation, or if you use it on its own. But to spend $40 on this, you don't need to. We're gonna be testing it side by side with the NYX High Glass Face Primer, which is relatively new. And this is $17, which is also pretty pricey. Like NYX needs to like jump off their high horse a little bit, but it's still cheaper than $40. So yeah, they have 3 shades, and I got the shade Rose Quartz, which isn't the exact same tone as the Becca one. Like it's a slight, it's more like a rose gold kind of tone. Like it has a little bit more of a bronzy aspect, but Moonbeam looks pretty much dead on. So if you want something similar to the Becca one, then I would say Moonbeam is probably closer. So yeah, here's the Becca one, and here is the NYX one. I put out way too much. Don't make that dirty. The tones are obviously different, but as far as how they feel and like the amount of sheerness to them, like the pigmentation, like they are literally so exact. Yeah, I'm gonna do the Becca one on this side. And I mean, this type of product is really pretty on its own as well, because like there's not obvious shimmer particles in it. So it just really makes your skin look glowy and dewy and radiant. Now let's go into the NYX one. I mean, I guess the NYX one did give me a little bit of warmth, but I mean, it's not a whole lot. But yeah, here's what it looks like from side to side. So there's the Becca one, here's the NYX. So yeah, they're both very glass-like and very sheeny. But yeah, needless to say, these are dupes. Now I have a glowy finish foundation dupe, and I didn't want to pair it with a glowy primer like these, but I want to show you guys as many products compared as possible, so we're gonna do it anyway. But we're gonna try to find a dupe for the Estee Lauder Futurist Hydra Rescue Moisturizing Makeup with SPF 45. So this is pretty new, but this is $45, and I feel like this is literally its drugstore counterpart. Like, this is so extremely close. This is the L'Oreal Age Perfect Radiant Serum Foundation with SPF 50. Now, I don't care about SPF. SPF and foundations and makeup means nothing to me because you don't need to rely on that. Like, that, no, it's just a gimmick. But the L'Oreal one has SPF 50, whereas this one is SPF 45. So if that does tickle your fancy, then this one's better. But I kid you not, the fact that these were brought out around the same time, like they were released around the same time, and the claims and the finishes, the pigmentation, the coverage, everything about these is so similar, and they wear the exact same way on my face. I have tested these side by side before. But obviously the packaging is different because you're paying more. Like, whenever you, I'm sorry, I'm just gonna say it. Whenever you buy high-end makeup, you're most likely paying for packaging. Like this whole, oh, you're getting higher quality ingredients. No, you're not. Now the L'Oreal one, I will say, is it's a little pricey because L'Oreal, they just keep like inchworming their way up there to be like high end, but this is $16 at Ulta. On the Estee Lauder one, I have the shade 1W2 Sand, which is a pretty close match for me, and the L'Oreal one is 20 Golden Ivory, which is very, very peachy. Like it's pretty orange, but I can make it work in the end. I'm gonna go ahead and swap on some of the Estee Lauder one, and I've used a brush and a sponge with this, but I'm just gonna use a sponge today. So yeah, the color is pretty much perfect for me, but it blends out extremely fast. Like this is taking seconds. Like it's a good product, especially if you want something that's more of like the It Cosmetics CC cream type thing, like along those lines. Then, I mean, that's definitely what these are trying to do. As you can see, it has a really, really pretty glow to it. Like it just looks so like refreshed and just hydrated and just plump. Like it really does make your skin look plump. Yeah, I would say you definitely can get like medium to full coverage out of it depending on how much you want to layer it, but I mean medium coverage for sure. So I'm gonna do the same thing with the L'Oreal side. I'm actually gonna use the same sponge, but I'm just gonna wipe off the excess. I mean, it doesn't have to be that technical. It's just makeup. Calm your tits. And again, it blends out super quickly, just like the Estee Lauder one. It just meshes right in, sinks right into your skin. And whenever I first started using this, I was really shocked at how long wearing it is because I have oily skin. So I figured where this is like super glowy and dewy and hydrating that it would just completely melt off, but it actually holds up all day on me. So, I mean, if you're not super, super oily, like I'm like mildly oily, like I feel like my skin's pretty tame, then definitely try this because it looks so good. Let's do a little side by side. So here's the Estee Lauder. So yeah, hydrating, fresh, radiant, medium to full coverage. And then here's the L'Oreal side. Hydrating, fresh, radiant, medium to full coverage. Total dupes. You can't deny it. So that's pretty much it for my face and eyes. So I don't have any more dupes in those categories, but let's move on to some lips now. So the first lip product I'm trying to dupe is this MAC lip pencil in the shade Spice, which is $18. And this is the one that Kylie Jenner made popular back in 2016 when she came out with the big lips for the first time. And oh, this isn't lip filler. This is just makeup and contouring and the Spice lip liner. And people actually fell for it. It is a really nice shade and it's very universal, and this is a really creamy formula. So they call this a pink cinnamon stick, but I found the cheapest, best dupe, and that is the AOA Studio lip liner in the shade Hero, which is again $1. It's a wooden pencil just like the MAC one. So yeah, here's MAC. Let's do it right next to it. I mean, can you even tell a difference? I've had this AOA Studio one for a while, and it's been one of my favorites like since I tried it. Until I got the Spice one, I had no idea that these were dupes, and now I was just like swatching and just thinking, bingo. So I do feel like the MAC one starts off a little bit darker, but the more you build this one up, like it looks the exact same. This is so awesome. So for lipstick, we have another MAC product, and this is the Velvet Teddy lipstick. This is $19, and they call this a deep tone beige, and this is literally like the sister of MAC Spice. Like it looks so good together. But yeah, super nice and creamy and pigmented and smoothing and all that, but it's not long wearing at all. Every MAC lipstick I've tried has been so short-lived on the lips. Like they have no longevity, like even with the lip gloss on top. So for my dupe, I have the NYX Suede Matte Lipstick in the shade Free Spirit, which is $8. Let's do this right next to it. So yeah, I mean, the only difference in these is that Velvet Teddy just has a little bit more of like a pinky undertone, but I mean, they're so close. So let's do the MAC on this side. And then NYX on this side. Now, I haven't tried the NYX one enough to know how it wears, but I mean, it's gotta wear better than the MAC one. Like, it's already rubbing off. They look the exact same. That is it for my dupes video. I feel like this was a pretty successful video. But yeah, hopefully I helped you guys save some money and prove to you once again that drugstore makeup is just as good, if not sometimes better, than high-end stuff, and you really don't need to break the bank for makeup. So yeah, if you haven't already, give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Mwah.